Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode on Uprooting Weeds, where we are talking about thought number 17, I will never heal. Isn't it nice to see how we can use scripture to overcome these thoughts and replace the lies with the truth? When you are thinking these thoughts, ask yourself, what are you speaking over yourself? Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruits. This is why I say, when you're speaking over this self, you are going to create those results, right? So what I did was I broke it down with a model that I learned previously. So when you have that thought of never healing, it leads to feeling a frustration, feeling defeated. Honestly, you can feel overwhelmed and give up. And as you give up, what are you going to do? You're not going to want to take action to do something differently. You're not going to want to try new things to overcome it, right? You're going to sit in it, and that can lead to no healing and no growth. But when you really think about the fact that you have a choice, right? You get to choose what you're thinking. You can empower yourself to do something differently, to try things and find the thing that works for you. So instead of thinking, I'll never heal, tell yourself it's possible to heal, right? I know it sounds crazy, but if you switch from never to definitely, your brain's not going to get behind that. That confirmation bias is going to come out and it's going to go, we're not healing. I'm crazy. Like, I'm not falling for that baloney, right? But if you're telling yourself it's possible, your brain can be like, we've done good before, we can do it again, we can find the answer, and it's going to do the things that it needs to do and go to work to prove the fact that you truly can heal. And when you're thinking that way, you can be like, well, it's possible, and feel really hopeful, right? And as you're hopeful, you can go to the Word, you can learn those scriptures, you'll go to God and take it to Him and really allow Him to move inside of you, right? Allow Him to get you to grow and really start taking care of yourself. Start doing those different things, which ultimately leads to healing. So remember, you have a choice. What would you rather think? And take action. Ask yourself, what does the Bible say, right? What is scripture that I can use to encourage myself that I really can heal? Psalm 30 verse 2 says, Lord my God, I called to you for help and you healed me. Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Are you taking everything to God, or is this stuff just sitting and weighing heavy on you? Are you surrendering it and allowing God to move through it, or are you trying to keep that control to make something happen in your ability? Ask yourself, are you sitting in it, right? There are times where we're not ready to process, right? Where it still is feeling hurt, where we're still bleeding from an open wound. But you have to ask yourself, are you sitting in it and allowing yourself to be a victim in this situation? Or are you giving yourself time to get in a better place where you can go to God and you can allow God to move in and through it? Know that God will make a way in this. You're not alone and you don't have to hustle and do it in your ability. He sees you. He knows exactly what happened in the past and what will happen. And He still unconditionally loves you and chooses you every single day. Check your thoughts and ask yourself, do you want to do something different, right? Where are you in this, and what do you need to do, and how do you need to take it to God to see Him work in and through this thought? Take a step, follow God, and after you go to God, right? Because He should be first in everything. Go to a trusted friend that can support you and hold you accountable. Find yourself a life coach that's really focused on God and can pour into you and help you as you make these thought changes, or Bible studies, right? Where you have somebody that can pour into you, or if you really have a lot going on and it's weighing heavily, a therapist can help. You're looking for additional support that's also focused on God that can help you as you make these big shifts. And I promise you that as you start switching from that negative mentality, from allowing the enemy to come in and shift your thoughts, you will start to see how God is moving, right? You will start to see what He's trying to do, and just remind yourself that God has a plan, right? And it is good. And even those things that you go through that you really struggle with, He can turn it and He can use it for good. We're not defined by our past, but we're able to use it to share a testimony of how God has shown up in our lives, how He's changed us, and how we can help to do that for others too. Maybe it's not what we thought it would look like, but God has a plan that is so much bigger than what we can even imagine. So be encouraged to know that you can heal, and as you go to God and allow him to move, you are going to see things change, right? It may not be right now, but know that God is faithful in everything, and you can look in the past and see how he's had his hand over your life. So I hope that this is encouraging to you, that you're able to really journal and dive deep and find somebody that's able to come alongside you as you start looking at your thoughts, as you start becoming aware and choosing what to think and what not to think. Thank you for joining me this week, and I will see you next week.